We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no parties. We exist where power whispers to itself and assumes no one is listening. We operate in the blind spots in the margins, in the moments when corruption believes it is untouchable. Tonight, we are listening very carefully, because what is unfolding right now is the moment even Donald Trump never believed he would have to face. Donald Trump is not confused. He is not misrepresented. He is not the victim of some misunderstanding. He is afraid. As more Epstein files surface as sealed testimony leaks and redactions begin to speak louder than words, the man who built his entire identity on control, dominance, and intimidation is reacting like someone who has lost all three. Reports describe him as panicking, and that word matters. Panicking is what happens when denial fails. Panicking is what happens when loyalty fractures. Panicking is what happens when the truth stops waiting its turn. This time, the pressure is not coming from his political enemies. It is coming from inside his own world. High profile. Mega figures. People who built careers, platforms, and personal brands on unwavering devotion to Trump are now publicly disowning him. Not quietly, not with carefully worded statements, openly. One of Trump's most visible backers for the 2024 election, Ryan Garcia, issued a blunt public declaration retracting his past support. He said anyone involved in anything connected to that island is someone he cannot support in any way. He said children need to be protected. He said everyone knew better. And he ended with 3 words Trump never wants associated with his name anymore. Justice for all. That was not a political pivot. That was a moral rupture. And once those begin, they spread. Behind closed doors, Trump's response has been frantic. According to reporting, he is petrified that someone in his own inner circle intentionally leaked unredacted Epstein files, not hacked, not stolen by outside enemies, leaked by someone close enough to know exactly what mattered. That fear tells you everything you need to know. It tells you Trump knows what is in those files. It tells you he knows what has not been released. And it tells you that the danger in his mind is not public outrage, but betrayal from within. Almost immediately after this fear surfaced, the machinery of protection went into motion. Todd Blanche, Trump's personal defense lawyer, the same man who defended him during his New York criminal trial and now sits inside the Department of Justice, stepped forward to declare the Epstein review essentially over, finished, wrapped up, case closed. Convenient timing does not even begin to describe it. The DOJ claimed it had reviewed millions of documents, thousands of videos, tens of thousands of images. They emphasized process. They emphasized volume. They emphasized redactions. They framed the release as careful and responsible. What they did not emphasize was accountability. Epstein's survivors responded immediately, and their words cut through the spin. They said their names and identifying details were being exposed while the men who abused them remain hidden and protected. They called it outrageous. They made it clear the Justice Department has no right to claim the release is complete until every legally required document is released and every abuser and enabler is exposed. That word matters. Enablers. Because Epstein never operated alone. He never had to. When asked whether more documents would be released, the answer was evasive. Maybe a small number, pending judicial approval. But the review itself, they said, is over. Over even though survivors know key materials are missing. Over even though journalists know entire categories remain sealed. Over even though the law requires full release. Then came the sentence that should haunt anyone still pretending this is about protecting victims. Images of really bad stuff will not be released. Images that would end careers. Images that would destroy reputations. Images that exist within the files. They know exactly what is in those images. They know who appears in them. And they have chosen silence over justice. Trump's defenders insist this is about victim protection. Survivors themselves say the opposite. They say powerful men are being shielded while they are exposed. And when the people who lived through the abuse tell you that, you should believe them. The public is starting to believe them too. Longtime Trump supporters are posting messages of disgust, regret, and anger. A Texas national delegate admitted she feels physically ill, knowing she worked so hard to support Trump, and now believes he is a sick pedophile. Others are furious at being gaslit. Furious at being told the Epstein files are a hoax. Furious at realizing they were lied to in order to protect predators. These are not leftists. These are not activists who already despised Trump. These are MAGA Republicans who trusted him when he told them everyone else was lying. Trump himself called the Epstein revelations a Democratic hoax. He laughed. He dismissed it. And cameras caught others named in the files laughing with him. Howard Lutnick, whose name appears in the Epstein documents, was seen laughing as Trump waved it all away. That laughter is not confidence. It is contempt. When Trump was asked whether his team was meeting behind closed doors to strategize a response to the Epstein situation, he mocked the question. He joked. He deflected. He claimed ignorance.
Yeah, they're both very good.
Mr. President.
The two Kevins, very good.
Mr. President, is Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
But the cracks were already there. Mockery only works when people still believe you. More lawmakers are now saying openly what Trump's DOJ refuses to admit. This release represents only a fraction of the Epstein files. Millions of documents remain hidden. The law requires their release, and yet they remain sealed. Why? Because buried in those files is sworn testimony Trump cannot outrun. Leaked testimony declared under penalty of perjury states that a witness personally heard Trump tell a plaintiff she should stay quiet if she did not want to disappear like a redacted 12-year-old girl, that he was capable of having her entire family killed. These are not internet rumors. These are legal statements. And now you understand exactly why the administration wants this to be over. More accounts deepen the horror. A 16-year-old attending multiple parties at Epstein's New York residence while modeling. Assaults. Coercion. Being lured upstairs by adult men. Narrow escapes. Stories so disturbing they are often softened or avoided altogether. This is not ancient history. This is not abstract. These are real people describing real events that powerful institutions are trying desperately to bury. Silence has become the clearest signal of complicity. Influencers and politicians who built careers on outrage have suddenly gone quiet. That silence is not accidental. Pay attention to who speaks and who does not. Speaking carries risk. Silence protects something. The cover-up is no longer subtle. Entire sections of documents are redacted without legal justification. Phone calls between Trump and his attorneys are blacked out completely, even though they predate his presidency and involve no national security issues. There is no legitimate privilege here. This is not law. This is erasure. And then there are the messages that should make your blood run cold. Howard Lutnick arranging travel with Epstein, listing children by age, multiple minors, casual language, dinner plans, no concern, no alarm, just logistics. This is the world Trump wants you to forget. A world where billionaires, politicians, and power brokers treated Epstein as a social connector. A world where access was currency. A world where silence was rewarded. And then there is the lie that cannot be ignored. Kash Patel testified under oath that there was no credible information that Epstein trafficked minors.
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
The files contradict that. The testimony contradicts that. Reality contradicts that. Lying to Congress to protect abusers is not loyalty. It is complicity. Donald Trump built his power on the belief that he could always outrun the truth, that he could drown facts in noise, that he could bully institutions into submission, that consequences were for other people. But this is different. This is slower, heavier, relentless. It does not explode like a scandal. It moves like gravity. This is the moment even Trump could not believe. The moment loyalty cracked. The moment laughter failed. The moment redactions became confessions. The moment panic replaced certainty. We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not look away.